Okay, oh wow, very dark. Hello everyone, let me just see if I can get some more light going on here. Yeah, just going live actually from my bedroom, so I thought, you know, if I'm going to be talking about romantic love and and some of the most intimate things to me, why not do it from my most sacred personal space? So, welcome. This is me. I'm just wanting to just chat about romantic love and you know, its impacts on me. So first off, if you're watching this on review, so there's a button you can click that says live notifications that you can click on if you want to make sure that you get to find out about these before they happen, and then be able to ask me some questions as they come up. So yes, Crystal, I am. Thank you so much. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Kenny. Guys, you are some perfect people to come onto the cast right now, and I'd love to know any questions you have on romantic love, any comments, just a real discussion around this, because I'm riffing on it pretty raw, inspired by Zulu Flow Zion, my brother, who are doing this challenge of doing a video every day for 7 days at least. That's all right, Kenny. Maybe you can just drop us a question or drop us a point before you head off, man. And I'll talk on it and you can watch it later on. That's the cool thing about doing this live thing. So I'm just going to, I wonder if I can make a comment. I can. So interestingly enough, I thought this morning when I got up, I'm going to do a chat about romantic love, and then just chatting with the incredible Dan Franks. He dropped me a note on love from like hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And it's quite funny to see this note here. You know, this thing called love that's just been the bane of our existence for so long. People have been thinking about it, expressing on it, and just like being tormented and yet completely fulfilled by it for time immemorial. So it's something that's been a focus of my life for a very long time, this whole idea of romantic love and getting relationships right and how to get attraction right. And yeah, it's probably because we're on the same connection, Michael. We're in the same house. It's something that I want to just deeply dive into with you guys. So please, if you have anything you want to ask right now, please do that. My personal experience lately has been one of incredible heartbreak, and at the same time, there's beautiful opening of love, both you know, personally within myself, self-love, self-care, the love of friends and housemates and people who just care about me so deeply, and I'm so grateful to all of you that I've been in connection with. Rob, Lyndall, you know, everyone that I've connected to on that kind of level, and you know, and now as well, my heart is starting to open up. My romantic heart is starting to peek open, and I'm very grateful for, you know, some experiences and calls that I've been having, and yeah, I am peeking open on the potential of romantic love. But here's the biggest thing that I'm getting from all of this, and one of the things that comes up in that little note that I've sent, it's like when we have this love, this wanton love that corrupteth. I love all the earths and dots. Once you get past the earths and dots, maybe you like them as well, in this little note that I've just posted into the comments. The final line: nuptial love maketh mankind. Friendly love perfecteth it, but wanton love corrupteth and embaseth it. So I've always been this deep diver in love, and just threw myself, heart, soul, wallet, you know, time, all into the concept of love, only to be both disappointed and to disappoint the person that I connect with over time. So one of the biggest things I'm learning is, like, why not just take it slow? Why can't there be a slow build up over time, founded on friendship, founded on common ground other than the moves that we have in the bedroom and or on the guitar strings if we're romancing each other. You know, and Simon Banks coming on, Paul Cornish, Si, you're somebody who could speak on love, I think, better than most people I know, man. You know, you're someone who has a very deep heart and a tough exterior, but a very deep heart. So I really appreciate our chats around love as well. So if you've got anything to say or comment when it comes to romantic love, what would be your advice? Anyone here, what would be your advice when it comes to romantic love, based off all your experiences and things you've read? let us know here in the comments down below. So, hello, Jessime. So, a couple of points in here as well. Sorry. Whoops. I just swore on a live cast. That's not nice. I'm going to just riff for myself. So, yes, I've spent a lot of time and resource and attention into looking into how to create love in the first place. There's an article I'll post in the links below about how to create reality-ascending love. But the maintaining of reality-ascending love, the maintaining of even just a standard everyday love that's going to last the test of time, that's going to last the monotony of everyday life, the annoyance of all the little things that were once cute aspects of this being that was so different and new that now, 6 months, a year, 7 years down the track now becomes some of the most annoying things that person does. Do you have any thoughts, guys, around what to do with that? My thinking is to just take it really slow, to embrace a word that I thought I would never embrace. It's barely in my vocabulary right now, and it's called prudence. Even the first part, prude, it just makes me almost get right? But I'm realizing that this concept of prudence is certainly something to explore, at least for me right now. So, wow, here we go. Being married 5 years from now takes sacrifice and time to build real long-lasting love. It's not fuzzy feelings always, it is work. And yeah, I do recognize it's work, and this whole idea of sacrifice I'm almost coming around to. I like to think that, we can co-create something that is bigger and better than each person's idea, and I still fundamentally believe that when you have an issue, and one of the cool bits of advice I've read along the way is that if you have a concern in love, in your relationship, if you say, for example, someone wants to have a lot of salad and chicken and have a delicious meal, there's no food at home and that person wants to go out, the other person wants to spend a night in and watch something. So there's two people with two concerns, and you can co-create something that meets the underlying values, the underlying needs below each of those different concerns. So I don't think it necessarily has to be sacrifice, but I certainly feel that there is work involved. It's not like you can just be you and expect everything to work, or I can just be me and expect it all to just come to me, and that is something I'm very guilty of doing in relationship. So yeah, I think it does take work. I think it's changing, right? Like I remember there's a statement I made once with a particular being. Let me see if I can find this. There's a statement I made once, which was that our miracle lies in the path we have chosen together. We know that the true magic of love is not to avoid changes, but to navigate them successfully as one. Maybe there's a truth in there that I've personally forgotten about in my want to sort of create the most cushy, comfortable life I can have for myself and my loved ones. So, just checking out the time, 3:10. So this is about 5 or so minutes left in the cast. So, welcome everyone who's come on board. Great to see you guys. And here's one from Kenny. My only challenge is learning to become a better listener without making it about myself again. Yeah. So empathy is a big lesson that I've been learning the hardest way possible in how to be a good listener. The couple of things I've picked up along the way is to obviously just get curious about the person and go deeper than the everyday conversation in being a good listener. One of the other things I do as well is because my pace is normally so quick, to be able to even tap on my chest or tap under the table so that I can bring my pacing down to a rate that's going to be able to actually connect through the heart. So what is my point? It's a good question. The point is to this whole chat is to just open up a bit more and be able to just not just speak on things that I'm very confident speaking around, but also open a conversation up about things that don't necessarily come easily for me, continuing that romantic love, which many people say you can't do. Here we go, Sarah. Yeah. the compromise because I think it makes you happy to help your other significant person and vice versa, which ceases to make it sacrifice. Yeah, I think, and even the word compromise kind of makes me wonder. It's more of like, can we give 51-51 to the relationship, or give 100-100, and then not feel taken advantage of? Because that can happen as well when the other person is in the relationship and not feeling like they have to do much. So, so yeah, autism and being on the spectrum, and it's systematizing it. Who knows? Perhaps I have some elements of that in me as well, and really wanting to understand the system of love. And it's like, just saying those words is an interesting feeling as well. Great. So let's keep riffing. What is there? So what do I hope for the future for love for all of us? There's a beautiful video on emotional technology that's come out from the School of Life. You can YouTube that, and they talk about being able to find matchups perfectly, way better than Tinder. I've stayed away from Tinder, way better than Tinder can, because I feel it's too superficial. It's too based on an initial impression, and it takes away. I feel Tinder takes away the surprise and joy of discovering someone in random situations. So, I'm just throwing myself out into a lot of random situations lately. And not with the intention of finding romantic love, by the way, but getting quite surprised in what can come to one when the focus actually gets off love, funnily enough. So I suppose one of the biggest things and points that I'm saying here is that I'm starting to not focus on love, and it feels like, well, am I going to find that? But I think the key is to just to focus on loving the self, loving friends, and then being prudent. If anything, that's the thing I've gotten through this process of relearning love, because the intention I've always had is to absolute most and a big set a good foundation, make a good first impression, but set a good foundation for the relationship. But perhaps it sets a false foundation for the relationship, because we're not always going to be these beings that will, move mountains to be in connection with somebody. And perhaps what I'm noticing, the willingness to move mountains, to keep a connection, only can really happen after enough time being solidly connected to somebody. So even if that solid connection comes through friendship, a couple of my closest friends, Nick and Chelsea, they've been great friends for years, and they have achieved such a beautiful love because for many, many years they weren't sexual, full stop. And they've been able to connect and relate quite well. They know how each other works pretty well. Yeah, cool, Paul Cornish. Thank you for your notes there. Yes, so if there's anyone, you guys know that have managed to keep a relationship going probably over the last, I'd say 10 or 15 years, around my age, because I think there's a massive dynamic that's happening here in the younger people. There's the amount of choice and options we have out here. It just becomes so easy to just go, I'm kind of done, I'm going to try something else for a while. So, Patrick Davey, there's a person I haven't seen for many, many years. You can't chase love, you find it. Or maybe it finds you, yeah. Wow. Whoa. Sorry, guys. I'm just live and at the same time taking in a very big chat. Yeah, it keeps you from getting jealous and or codependent. So there's a good point. This whole concept of interdependence that I've again had as an idea and something I wanted to create, but then always just fall into that other person's universe, that other person's world, and that's why even taking it slow, because I've always, those who know me, I've been in, many relationships. I've been quite a serial monogamous, very long-term relationships. I've been in relationship 95% of the time. So, the idea of taking it slow and really getting to know someone before moving in and diving even deeper into a relationship, I think is something that I personally need to learn, and hopefully that speaks to some of you of that as well. So yeah, that's my little riff on romantic love. I do have, of course, hope for it to rebirth, and as I go through this journey of rebirthing and myself and recreating myself as just me, hopefully then I can be a bit more ready for romantic love as it builds up over time. So, Crystal's commenting. Love is the most fragile and powerful thing we experience as humans. Wanting it too much can kill it. Can't choose when it starts or stops. Okay, so yeah, it's a very good point about, can you help your heart? Some people say, I can't help my heart and I just got to follow it. It's like, no, we've got other parts in our body. We have a mind, we have our gut, we have our word. There's other parts to our being other than our heart. So I'm all for listening to the heart, absolutely. There's a comment that I do repeat a lot, that the heart is above all things deceptive. So I think that the heart can be tempered. It can be allowed to fully, deeply express itself. Not necessarily tempered, but allowed to flourish in the space of other parts of our being. That's what I think is a big thing. I've followed my heart to the nth degree too much, too often, and not listened to the advice of my friends and slowed down. So, who spends 24/7 with their significant other? Oh my goodness, yes. Okay, that I can speak on, and I will speak on that. I'll make that one of the last things I talk about, but I will address So's comment there as well. So, hi Higo, how you doing, brother? So I spent a lot of time 24/7 with people, and this whole idea of creating interdependence is a thing that has to be consciously done. So I would even, consider separate rooms if you can do that in your house. Definitely separate friend circles and hobbies, and have interdependent circles as well. So have circles where you share friends, circles where you don't. Spend nights over people's houses and just hang out with friends and go deep. Go on separate holidays together. Give each other the space so that you have the want to write a romantic letter to the person after not seeing them for a few days. Cut off connection with the person. Create distance. There's a beautiful thing. I will link it in the description below as well on long-term desire and how to create long-term desire in relationships. And they talk about that being that you see the other person as a fully interdependent and independent being in and of their own right. And it's only then when you see that person interact with the world, when you see that person even flirt with other people, if you can stomach that concept, that builds desire. There's a beautiful thing in poly circles called compersion, which I describe as a combination of pride and territorialism, and at the same time desire. When I've seen a significant other actually flirt with somebody else, not being grounded in the fact that I can trust their heart to not fall for somebody else, but that they can just at least be in a fun social situation and flirt. That feeling of compersion builds desire for me for that other person. I love seeing that, and frankly, I love the freedom in being able to be that way with other people as well. So that's my little 2 cents on keeping things fresh. How do you balance prudence and passion? Well. That I will make a topic for another talk. That deserves its own talk, and I'll do a bit more research on one of those and talk about that. But it's something that I'm certainly experiencing and learning a lot about right now. So I'd love to deep dive into that again another time, and maybe with yourself as well on the call. So thank you so much, guys. It's a good amount of time on the chat. I love all your faces. Take care. Make sure you've got that clicked on subscribe. If you're still watching us right now, you can click on the bottom. I think it says follow or live notifications to get more of these as they come over the next few days. And suggest some comments on what you'd love for me to chat about. I'm happy to give as much as I've got to give in these calls. So love all your faces. Take care and sit into love with prudence and passion. Bye.